very, very big pre-season. We hear it about a lot of players, but they've said his work over the pre-season has been sensational.
Yeah, he's been hampered last year by osteitis pubis. He's got rid of that now, and he's had a sensational pre-season, as you said.
Murphy rose over the top, couldn't take it, but he kept it alive. Higgins, Eagleton, got clear on his left. Round the corner, Nathan Eagleton kicks the Dogs fit. And he's pumped. Quarter time here at the Telstra Dome, and the Western Bulldogs couldn't win a game in the last 7 rounds. Their crowd fans have turned up here today looking for a promising start, and they have it. 5-4 to 2-1. Gian Syracuse and Welsh 2 apiece. Burton, the only goal scorer for the Crows. And possession-wise, well, it is a possession fest for the Western Bulldogs. Cooney, Cross and Eagleton at the top of that list. And gentlemen, looking at the statistics for the first quarter, naturally, it's all Bulldogs.
Have a look at the contested possessions there, Liam. That's one Rodney Eade will be absolutely stoked. Marked inside forward 57 to 1. Clearances 9 to 3. It's interesting, Liam. The tackles are Adelaide's way. They just haven't been able to get their hands on the ball.
Well, they're chasing backside at the moment. Really, in the first quarter, it's all been the Western Bulldogs. It's been a really good mix of pace. There's been a good mix of what we know that the Bulldogs do, which is run and carry, but also their competitiveness at the stoppages has been sensational. Hudson completely on top in that first quarter, Spud.
Hudson was super. 8 disposals against Griffin North. So Rodney Eade will be tickle pink. You talk about your big men being aggressive. Hudson oozes that, and I think that's translated into the midfield getting the ball.
So much to think about for the Adelaide Crows at quarter time. Their assistant coach, David Noble, is with Roland Smith.
Well, Dave, a fairly quick start.
It was, no doubt, Smithy. And look, if you give them the chance to run, we thought our defensive pressure lacked through the midfield. You let them run, they're going to do some damage going forward.
And you're just getting beaten in the contested possession as well. Is that an area you want to target?
Yeah, it certainly is. Look, free kicks, free kicks absolutely kill you, particularly from stoppages. So we've got to address that pretty quick.
Good luck in the second quarter.
Cheers.
1 down, 3 to go for Brad Johnson if he is to celebrate in his milestone game, but there's plenty to come from the Adelaide Crows just yet, and they're into attack straight away. They're on the burst. Symes got it inside 50, right to the goal square. Opening score in the second term for Adelaide.
What's interesting there, Scotty West kicked the ball out. He's on Scotty Thompson. Scotty Thompson took him to the goal square, so unusual position, but he's only there for a minute or so.
Towards the wing, and Cameron White with too much height there. This is Cooney. Great opening quarter. Hahn to Hill. To Johnson. Ball spills out the back. McLeod, as we'd expect, accelerating from ground level as he picks up. Over to Bock, who wants to go for a run.
Already Neil Craig, McLeod down back. Obviously, that's where most of the players, so he's going to put a couple of his better players around the ball and behind the ball, Liam.
The experienced players and the bigger-bodied players too.
Precision kick from Bock out to Riley. Gave it to Symes again. Adelaide looking this time for Burton, and Hargrave gets one back. A win against Burton that time.
That is a good win. Good use of the body there. Kept his eyes on the ball. Adelaide desperately needs someone else to step up in their forward line other than Burton at the moment, though. They're Burton conscious.
There's not a lot of movement when they go forward at the moment. Burton's probably their best target because he's their most visible target.
He's the guy that moves the most, you're right.
He will lead laterally as well.
Welsh, here's Burton, he moves quickly. But unfortunately for him, he's infringed, and Morris gets a chance to swing it wide now to Hargrave. In turn, wider again to Hill. Rodney Eade said he's just really come from the clouds to put himself in line for a selection over pre-season. This is Murphy. Heads to the top of the square. Hahn went back. Johnson scouting at the front. Higgins also looking for it. Johnson off the ground. John Cock under some pressure. Safety option first. And quickly away to McLeod, but no one to kick to here. Forced to just stop and prop. And that's not going to be a mark for pleasure.
That's nearly a win for the Bulldogs there. You don't want Andrew McLeod being able to pierce the centre of the ground with precision passing. So to kick it out wide and set up again, probably not a bad result for the Dogs.
There's a holding free kick there, or too high. It's Stevens who'll take the free kick. Now, they've got some space here. Burton runs into a hole. The kick too much on it, though. Van Berlo, Cromming, wrapped up by West. And the Dogs should clear. They have the numbers.
Burton at the hole there. Van Berlo's kick.
They've turned it over. Bad handball comes to Edwards. He'll make you pay. Beautiful finish, Tyson Edwards.
Well, it was a bad handball there by the Crows, but also Dale Morris did everything right. Left his man, helped out. You see here the follow-up. He's a terrific player, Morris, but this is a very bad handball, and it's just let them in. And when you've got all the momentum, Rodney Eade would be pulling out what little hair he has got left. Great finish as well by Edwards.
It just lets him back in the game. He's handballed when he was under pressure. He wasn't balanced. So when you're unbalanced and you're in that position of the ground, you've got to play the percentages and keep the ball out of the corridor.
One of the premier players in the competition, and he certainly does play well against the Bulldogs. He kicks his first this afternoon. Tyson Edwards averages 26 disposals against the Doggies over the last couple of years. And he's been a pleasure to watch in his 267-game career. Back in the middle, Jonathan Griffin over the top, cross underneath, Hill.
Terrific handball.
Sized it up well. Hudson got in the way of Cooney. He atones by tapping it forward. Cooney in turn towards Griffin. Ball still alive. They paddle it forward. Griffin comes back for another go at it.
Good follow-up, Griffin.
Underneath that, Symes. Hill squeezes it out. Bott goes back for Adelaide and takes it. Plays on immediately.
Been lively, Hill. 6 disposals already. You talked about being the last 3 weeks stepping up in the pre-season. Well, he's stepping up in his second league game.
He looks at home, doesn't he?
What about this, boys? Let's have a look at this one. Ben Hudson, you love his competitiveness, but he lets that one go to Cooney. He runs to 50 and has a shot, probably.
Back with the action, it's McLeod. Just tumbles it forward off the left. Not his best kick, Gilby. Cooney, that's a poor handball as well. It's very messy at the start of this second term. And can Adelaide make the Dogs pay again?
He's going to have to run to 50 and have a shot because there's nothing forward of him.
It's not a bad bloke to have the ball in his hands. Simon Goodwin across the face.
Well, again, 2 Bulldog errors. We saw Morris's handball, Gilby's little toe tap there. When you're playing in the back half, play the percentages.
Here's Josh Hill, no one standing on him. Took the kick in and passes to Griffin. Adelaide getting some numbers back quickly.
Big Griffin's pushing back too to try and get into the hole for the long bomb.
Ryan Griffin into the pocket. Last in line was Hahn. Ackermanis tried to pinch it off a Doughty. We've got a ball in.
Here we see Gilby here. He's in defence. He's kicked the ball inboard. Now, with Morris as well, both disposals have gone into the corridor, which allowed Adelaide an easy shot on goal.
Boundary throw, and Hudson decides to go on his own, fishes it forward, and we'll have another replay.
I know we're talking a lot about Hudson, but that's what I love about Ben Hudson. He's a real competitor, and he's given them a real bit of grunt so far in this match. And Griffin started to have a little bit more influence this quarter at the centre square, but he's still been very good, Hudson.
Dogs trying to make something here. Out the back, it spills. Adelaide Crows players want the free kick, and they are happy they get it. Rowan Smith at ground level.
Well, Neil Craig reacted to their first quarter. They've put Goodwin and Edwards into the midfield, and then they've had their first 2 shots on goal in this second quarter.
So Adelaide not too sure how to get this out of their back 50. They're mucking around with it, but eventually Riley gives it over to Doughty. He can go to Symes at the midfield. Slides in for the mark, just,
I think. This will suit Adelaide. Stop. Let's just reset. Use the footy. Importance is actually being able to use the footy in this situation.
Tippett was one option. The other one was Stevens. He kept it in. Floats it forward. And they've moved it up to the opposite end fairly quickly. 15-point margin to the Dogs.
Box been terrific down at centre-half back. And I look at Stevens. Stevens could match up on Murphy okay. Box just that bigger body for the Adelaide Crows midfielders to hit.
Griffin tried to make the right spot underneath Van Berlo. Pinched by Shirley, but the smother was good. Saved a goal by Cooney. Eagleton shares with Ackermanis in turn west. He doesn't miss the body by that far very often. Hill now under the pump. Symes did beautifully. and wins the free kick. It wasn't Symes, it was Doughty. 50 metres from goal.
Great
Not his
shepherd,
best
Sonny
effort.
West.
And the Bulldogs reload. Hargrave spots an option out wide. Minson. Now Johnson runs for him. He waits. Couldn't quite get it there. Out in front of Welsh. Rutten with him. Welsh did well. Kept it alive. Murphy on the end. Just in time.
Beautiful kick. Only option he had. That was a great mark there for Murphy, picking up off his ankles.
Short. Gian Syracuse, hands in the back, not there. Play on. Dogs fans not happy, and Adelaide switch.
They've paid worse, Matty, than that one.
This is McKay.
Nothing up forward to kick to at the moment.
Sets it up. Sets it up for the defender in Morris, who didn't take it. Thompson was left hanging. Play on the call, West. Out in front of Gian Syracuse. Cooney thought about it. He cuts back through the middle. There's Dogs everywhere to the outer side. Take your pick. Ackermanis on the end of the handball, over the top. Murphy, 2 steps, keeps it low, keeps it clean, and keeps it going the right way for the Dogs.
Magnificent play there from the Bulldogs. We know Adelaide get back in numbers, Liam, but there's one way you can cut through a defence, is that with quick hands. Instead of kicking the ball in long to an outnumbered situation, you just give the extra handball. It forces the Adelaide Crows defenders here, as we see Gian Syracuse take them out. Great vision, squared the ball up, but this is where they break their defence up. Just with the quick hands here from Gilby, Ackermanis, bang, over the top, free player, goal. It is magnificent play, Bulldogs.
Murphy's first for the afternoon, and they get back to that 20-point margin.
It's a very good finish, that Murphy, isn't he? He knows where the goals are.
Minson won the tap, but Shirley first there for Adelaide. Cutting back, Riley puts Doughty under pressure. Nice step. Big Griffin launching it forward. Tippett in the right spot, almost. You can hear the umpire said it was touch. Crows fans don't agree. Paul Pleasure snapping to the goal square and going back and getting it. Burton.
Oh, well, Brett Burton's worked great there. And he was at the contest when the ball got kicked. We saw Jonathan Brown a couple of years ago take that terrific mark. It was last year, in fact, where he was back at the contest then, Brett Burton. He's just got a huge engine. We'll get a look at that in replay. That was sensational.
Lining up for number 3, keeping Adelaide within a 14-point margin. He does so.
What about that bit of play by Burton there? A contested ball, half forward. We know the Bulldogs were so good. Now, you see him at the top of the screen there. He's involved when Tippett's there. He's in the background running past. Now, that kick is off one step, and now look where he is. That's just sensational play by Burton, and it's why he's a dangerous matchup, because he actually reads the game well, and his work rate is just sensational. Well done, Brett Burton.
Oh, would have paid the mark anyway. Rodney Eade seeing his side leading by 14 points. The danger man for him, Burton with 3 goals. And Tippett getting involved there. Thought it was a mark.
Also, Brent Riley. He's been super. 15 disposals in the midfield.
And he's very clean with them.
Well done, guys.
Here is McLeod. Goodwin went past. He wasn't ignored. Kicks it long again. Right into the sunlight. And there is high contact.
Already Adelaide are looking a lot better with Goodwin, McLeod and Riley either in the midfield or just behind the ball. I know the experiment in the pre-season looked dangerous, but when you can't find the ball, you've got to put your class where the action is.
And here is a chance for Stevens, and Adelaide will be happy with that. They have a ball in 55 metres around from their goal. Son a problem, and there's over the shoulder from McGregor, but Morris mucked it up, and again there's an infringement in the ruck, and once again it goes to the Western Bulldogs. The free kick this time, holding, and it's Gian Syracuse.
Move it on, play on, play on.
They're really blocking it up here, Adelaide.
No 15, play on, play on.
You get the feeling that they've settled into a better rhythm now, Liam. Adelaide, they've got a bit of a sniff. But the Dogs attempting to run the use of hand. Ackermanis gave it to Ryan Griffin. Goes very long, right to the goal square. Just a touch on it from John Cock.
That's exciting play from Griffin. Great afterburners. Great to have that little bit of a extra gear, Liam. Something you and I had.
yeah, we were like two snails, you and I, Spud. But he is an important player and coming off missing most of the second half of last season. Very important player. I know they're going to use him more in the midfield this year. He's played predominantly off half-back in the first couple of years of his career.
Stevens got it from Thompson, and he goes long one-on-one again. Burton.
Look at the leap.
Fantastic vertical jump. Morris thought he had him covered.
They've made the change there, Matty. You've called it.
What's he doing here?
It's gone back to Paul Pleasure, who is a goal kicker. He just thought he had him covered there, Morris. He felt he's in the right spot, but he forgot the vertical leap.
Well, he's an early leaper. He leaps like Gary Ablett used to, and he leaps like Brad Johnson. See how he goes early? And it means the defender can't get a spoil in because he's already got his backside into his stomach.
Well, he's meeting the ball at its apex, isn't he? He doesn't give any chance at all for the spoil. Now, Paul Pleasure, 26 games for 25 goals. He likes them. And that's a real let-off for the Western Bulldogs there.
Well, it's a let-off for Rodney Eade also because he's just put one of his best defenders, Morris, onto Burton. And Neil Craig would have thought, gee, who are they going to put on Burton next? He's missed the goal, missed that short pass.
He's like Johnson, a bit of a difficult matchup because he's very good in the air and he's also very mobile. See the Crows, this is what they do. They choke you up. They've got the zone pushing back to the wing.
They've stymied the Western Bulldogs run early on. They got the ball, 1, 2, 3. They were rolling off the mark here.
They've got the rhythm that they want now, haven't they?
This is the tempo that they like to play at the Crows when the side's got the run on. Now, this is a dangerous kick.
Higgins was looking for Boyd. Well picked, Liam. They've turned it over. Paul Pleasure, man on.
Thompson free if you can spot him.
There he is. Thompson in the pocket. You might have played a bit down full-back, Daddy. You would have been screaming then. Someone pick him up. Back through the middle to McGregor, directly in front, and this time they should kick the goal.
But it's starting from your call, Liam. Spot on. He's kicked the ball 60 metres with a switch. It's okay to kick it 40 metres and low, but when that ball travels for 3 or 4 seconds, it allowed Paul Pleasure to run in, and that is great awareness. They will always make you pay Adelaide on that turnover.
Well, that's what a bit of pressure does. It puts in doubt and you make bad decisions, and that's what Adelaide have been able to do in this second quarter.
It was deadly last year in front of goal. McGregor, 18-2. He's still online. The Crows get it back to within 8 points.
Great effort from Neil Craig and Adelaide. But I think Rodney Eade would be saying in the box, is it Adelaide's good play or is it our poor disposal? We saw a poor disposal down here from Morris, which resulted in a goal. We saw a long kick to a switch, and then Adelaide all of a sudden gets some momentum.
But doesn't one directly correlate with the other? The better play by Adelaide causing the mistakes with disposal.
Absolutely spot on, Matty. That's why I asked the question, and that's why you're the man.
Rodney Eade has come to work now. It was all falling for him in the first quarter. Now he's got to earn his paycheck, and there's the 300 gamer, Brad Johnson, taking a spell.
They're definitely not taking the game on like they were in the first 15 minutes, though, Liam. The Bullies, they're a little bit more hesitant. They're looking up, looking at extra numbers from Adelaide. They just need to play with a bit more risk take.
Ackermanis, known for taking some risks, gave it to Gian Siracusa. Eagleton, 52. That big left foot, hooking it too far in this case.
Still got a lot more of the ball here, the Dogs, but they're not as direct. Adelaide are closing down a little bit at the stoppages.
John Cock, short.
Tell you who's been good, Brent Riley. He's up to 15 now.
Doughty has turned it over. Gian Siracusa can take it and go. Open goal square. Messy handball, and they've mucked it up. Hahn trying to keep it alive. Back to Gian Siracusa. Spills it forward. Hands in the back. Adelaide free kick. And that'll be 50 metres against Murphy.
It was always going to be 50. All he had to do was hold him out with his elbow. You know, your fingertips is where you touch most things, but in our game of AFL football now, it's been in for over 12 months. You cannot put hands in the back.
Big Ben Rutten out to the wing. Symes. into the pocket, looking for Stevens. Going back McGregor, Burton also there, Hill paddling it back toward Hargrave. He'll want the boundary line, and they get the desired result, the Bulldog defenders.
Much more competitive in this quarter, Adelaide. This will be a real test for the Dogs. They're being challenged very, very early in this match.
Stevens just picked it up and kicked it towards the hot spot. He wants a crumb up. McLeod, is there any better? I don't think so.
The last 3 goals to Adelaide. Their key players getting involved. McLeod, well, you might as well not even have to call that, Matty. That's how when he gets the ball near goals, just sensational. Look where he is, front and square, bang, round the corner. Eats those for breakfast, Spud.
Not a lot of talk, not a lot of protection there from young Cameron White. We see Morris was just about to mark the ball, just had to put himself in between himself and the Adelaide opponent. When the ball spilled, you could sense it was always going to be danger.
Wonderful finish by the All-Australian captain, the superstar, and Adelaide within 3 points. 7 minutes remaining in this first half. Crunch time for the Dogs. They could be staring a deficit or half-time deficit in the eye. Cross with the clearance. Short, Cooney, no friends there. Gone, holding the ball. Adelaide will take off and run here in waves. Bassett gets it. Johncock sharing with Goodwin. Here they go. McLeod cutting it off was Hill, getting in the way, but crumbing at Edwards. All the stars for Adelaide getting their hands on the footy. Riley to Goodwin, 60 metres, short into the pocket, and this time it's Bernie Vince on the end of it.
Pressure wins matches. The tackle on Cooney on Western Bulldogs half-forward line. Turned over, and then Adelaide spread beautifully, and they're using the ball well. The tackle count at the moment, 28 to Adelaide, 14 Western Bulldogs.
Well, there was that discrepancy in the first quarter, which we'll have a look at.
He's only kicked 2 goals in his short 10-game career. It's going to remain at 2. Just a point.
There's a difference in some tackling, though, isn't there, Spud? I mean, we said in the first quarter they were double in tackles because, really, they couldn't get the ball. They were chasing the whole time. This is different tackling. This is different pressure that they've been able to put on in this second quarter, the Crows.
Brad Johnson sneaks off the bench for an easy one.
The old master.
Yeah. Gave it to Cooney.
We go down to Rowan Smith. Smithy, what's the feeling like? Is there any panic sitting in on the Bulldogs bench?
No, they're certainly not, Piggies. I think they've just stopped running, and as you said before, they're starting to take risks, but those risks aren't paying off now what they were doing in the first quarter. They're not panicking, but they just need a goal to settle down the nerves a little bit. Well, they weren't that clean there, Rowan, as Brad Johnson gave it up, and the rebound footy is coming back.
They're in trouble here.
Shirley wants Stevens. Hargrave left his man. Backed himself in. Gave it over to Gilby. A turnover. The reverse turnover, if you like. Johnson into the pocket. Hill. Young Josh Hill from Claremont in WA.
You called it. They were in strife, Spud. If Hargrave hadn't left his man then, they were in real trouble. Crows had 2 or 3 loose players. Well done, Hargrave.
Tough kick, very tight angle. For his first in AFL footy, it's not to be. And the margin to 3 points.
10 disposals, great output from young Josh Hill. Well, Brent Riley's got his own ball out here today. He's coming up for disposal 17.
Not his best. Just at the last minute, he got some pressure from behind.
Fatigue starting to set in now, Liam, the end of this second quarter.
Cooney. He spotted Big Will Minson. Coming over the top, Bassett to help out. Doughty. Goodwin, a slips catch. Kept it alive for Adelaide. Good work. Edwards back through the middle. They share it again. Edwards the 1-2 with Doughty to Johncock. Burton.
He'll have to hold it up and go inboard here. He looks up. He's got Bulldogs players everywhere inside the forward 50. He'll have to square it.
Chips into the pocket, waiting for someone to run onto it. Harris with strength, got rid of Stevens. Not for long, though. Scott Stevens runs back onto it. Dribbles it forward, hoping for the right bounce. Not to be. I don't know. A big man like that, wouldn't you? Why would you be sort of trying to keep it along the ground?
Well, I'm not sure about the kick along the ground, but Brian Lake wasn't a great effort there in that marking contest. A little bit underdone coming to this game, Brian.
Hudson standing all on his own, 20 metres from goal.
You can see how aware the Crows players are now. There's a lot of instruction going on, a lot of finger pointing, a lot of players there knowing their roles. Their zones pressed right back here, so the Bulldogs haven't got anywhere really to kick the ball.
Higgins, he doesn't know where to go.
Hasn't been a lot of run from behind from the Bulldogs this quarter, Liam.
They get a little bit from Higgins, but it's indecision and a poor kick and a lucky bounce. Cross from Murphy. Short. Wanted out Syracuse, didn't get him. Johncock. Beautifully done. Poise and balance and precision with the kick. Symes gets it from Griffin. His handball's a bit untidy.
Nothing long.
Edwards, McGregor, 50 metres from goal. Hooking over towards the pocket. Wanted Stevens, wasn't paid. Ball at ground level. Douglas there to help out. Can turn and straighten. Can finish off. And he can put Adelaide in front. And he does.
They're a super team. They wear sides down with their harassment and their ability to frustrate teams to play the style that they want. And it's a short chipping game at the moment. The Bulldogs' ball use was terrific in the first 20 minutes. Now they're starting to turn the ball over. That's been the difference. They've just, their foot skills and their handball skills this last 15 minutes have really allowed Adelaide into the game.
5 goals to 1 in this second quarter have Adelaide in control. And Douglas rewarded with a spell on the bench. The young man, his 6th goal in football, and Rodney Eade looks on, and can he believe that the Western Bulldogs now trail the Crows by 4 points? Centre clearance, the Dogs clashing with each other and breaking away. Poor pleasure. Again, Adelaide go forward. Strong mark Tippett, and the young man, of which so much is promised, takes a clean, good mark out in front.
That's exciting. We know he can take a high grab. We see the 2 Bulldogs players. Look, Rodney Eade would like that, going hard and low, as we see there, Higgins and Cross. But the mark here from Tippett, that's exciting. Adelaide Crows desperately need someone to step up. He's only young. We know he can jump high, but that was a good lead.
This for his first goal. We saw him play well in the NAB Cup, but this for his first goal in the real business. And Adelaide's 6th for the quarter. He's hooked it. The run-in was terrible.
We talked about the contested possessions in the first quarter, and it was all the Bulldogs. It's an area that they've struggled against Adelaide in the past, but they were very good quarter 1. Quarter 2, 29-18 in favour of the Adelaide Crows, which, well, really sums up how the Crows play their best footy.
Well, it's enough said also for Rodney Eade to implore to his players. We were tough early, but we're second to the ball in the second quarter.
Lindsay Gilby giving it up, almost costing a goal, but Scott West can get it to Higgins. And they can clear. Poor kick. Doughty's been very good in this second term. Poor pleasure back through the middle. There's Crows everywhere. Edwards in turn. Vince.
McLeod will be on here.
A little chip over the top. He wanted Symes, and coming out and taking a good mark is McGregor.
Now, I don't like being critical of young players, but Sean Higgins has made 2 or 3 really poor decisions. Now, I don't know whether that's tiredness. I don't know whether it's a young kid who basically hasn't had the same preparation as everybody else, but he's making some poor decisions. He's a very, very talented player, but he hasn't had a very good second quarter.
McGregor for his 2nd of the quarter, and to put the Crows out to an 11-point lead. He's hooked it as well. It's not going to make the distance. It's still alive for Adelaide. Not to be. A rush behind. One straight kick at it inside the last minute. Time for the Bulldogs to even it up. If they're good enough, they are turning the ball over going forward.
Another discrepancy in the second quarter, Liam. Western Bulldogs were 6 marks to 1 inside the forward 50. Adelaide this quarter, 8 marks inside forward 50 to 2 to the Bullies.
There were some tired boys at the end of this match. We were down at boundary line, Spud 9 before the game, Matty, and it's very warm. Adelaide have had a great preparation with their players. We know they've poured the games into them. It's a tough game anyway. Round 1's always a tough game.
High kick from Hudson. Pack forms on the wing. West. Eagleton in close quarters. Dribbles it out to Ackermanis. Missed with a handball. Wanted Griffin. Boyd cleans up. Into the pocket. He spotted Mitch Hahn. He actually didn't think it was coming his way. Tight. Right in the pocket. Short pass to the goal square. And we've got a rush behind. Minson not happy. And Johnson not happy right on the siren. So what a performance by the Adelaide Crows. All the emotion of the first quarter about Brad Johnson's 300th game. And the Western Bulldogs were off to a terrific start. It was a 5-2 opening quarter by them. But then Adelaide have really settled, got their rhythm right, and they won that quarter quite easily. At half-time here, round one at the Telstra Dome, an exciting game. The Crows lead by 5 points over the Western Bulldogs. We'll take a break, be back with the second half shortly.